It's extraordinary to hear this tape, and there was such an outpouring of people just saying how amazing you are, and I mean, I just think you're incredibly heroic, and that's a word that gets thrown around a lot, but I mean, you really are a hero. You saved people's lives. How did you remain so calm throughout this?
I was actually praying on the inside. I was terrified, but I just started praying, knowing that if I got as hysterical as I was on the inside, on the outside, that he would wind up panicking.
So inside, you were feeling hysterical. You were feeling.
Well, I was terrified on the inside, very scared.
We hear that at the end of the recording a little bit, where once it's finally all over, you sort of this flood of emotion comes out.
Yes, because I knew then he was. I know that it had already captured him, and so I knew that at that point in time I could actually just take a breather.
I've heard you say that your pastor had talked about being anchored in the Lord. Is that something that got you through?
Yes, he had just started this actual series that Sunday on being anchored, and I had told my pastor, I had told myself Monday morning that I was going to get up and start studying that morning. So I studied Monday morning, and I also studied on Tuesday. And he had been just talking about how you anchor yourself, not actually allowing life cares of the world to overwhelm you, but allowing yourself to be anchored.
So that's what it means to be anchored, to be rooted.
To be rooted and grounded in the Word, and not allow the situations that you're in dictate your actions.
That was a good timing of that sermon.
Very good timing.
I want us to start. I want to play some of the 911 recordings and get your thoughts on them. This first excerpt that we're going to play is when the gunman basically has first entered the room. Let's listen.
Okay.
I'm in the front office. Oh, he just went outside and started shooting. Oh, Carolina. What? Can you get somewhere safe? Yeah, I got to go. Yeah, he's going to see me on the name and call me back. Oh, hold on. Put the ball down. Okay, she said that she's getting a policeman to tell her to back off for you, okay? Okay. Stop all movement now on the ground. Stop all movement on the ground.
What's it like to hear that?
Realized now how terrified I was, and that was not his actual first entrance in the building. He had been in the building for a minute by the time that actual incident happened. He had already shot before that.
And that's what he left the office you were in. We heard those shots fired, and then he came back in.
That was the second time shooting.
Second time shooting.
Yes, he actually shot the first time in the office with me.
And when that first time when he shot, I mean, did you think this could be it?
Well, what he did is he actually took the shot to allow me and the other person that was in there to know that this was not a game and that he was not playing and that he was for serious. So then I knew then that it was not for real. I knew then it was for real and that I could lose my life. So
how did he appear to you? I mean, did he seem? I mean, when you first saw him, he's got this AK-47. How did he seem? What was the look in his eyes?
Like he didn't care. And he made it clear to me multiple times that he didn't care. He knew that he was going to die that day. And he came in purposely knowing that he was going to die and take lives with him. So he let me know that from the minute that he entered the building.
And when somebody says that to you, who's heavily armed, and later we now know he had almost 500 rounds of ammunition with him, what do you do? What did you think?
Well, when he said that, I actually was like, okay, and so I just kind of started really getting afraid when he actually shot the gun, because at first I was like, okay, maybe he's just playing. But when he shot the gun and then pointed the gun up to us, up towards the, to allow us to know and made gestures with the gun, then I knew he wasn't playing. So at that point in time, I just started praying on the inside.
Were you afraid that he was going to go into some of the classrooms, go after the kids?
Well, he actually did go to the door. He went to the door leading up to, when the first person actually left out, he told them to go and let everybody know that this was not a drill, that this was for real. When that person went out, other people went out with her because he didn't know that other people was in there. It was another room around the corner, and he didn't know people was there. So he started seeing all this movement, and he actually went to that door with the gun drawn to start shooting. And the media person was there, and he looked him dead in his face and started drawing his gun up. And so I started talking to him and saying, come back in, just stay in here with me. Don't go anywhere, stay in here. It's going to be okay, don't worry about anybody out there. You told her to go and do that, so she's doing what you told her to do. So I just started talking to him and all that. But he was unrational at that time because he was agitated of everything that was going on.
We hear in the 911 call, at one point he's talking about wanting to shoot police officers, and I want to play that part.
He said to tell them to back off. He doesn't want the kids. He wants the police. So back off. And what else, sir? He said he don't care if he down. He don't have nothing to live for. And he said he's not mentally stable.
I mean, that's the last thing you want to hear somebody say when they're armed to the teeth like that. He also talked about saying that he should have gone to a mental hospital, that he was off his medication.
Correct.
Did that make you even more worried about who you're dealing with?
Yeah, because by the time he made that statement, he had already fired all of his rounds in his gun for the first time, and I didn't know what was in the book bag at that time, but he had then got the book bag.
Mm-hmm.
And was filling up the magazines in front of me.
So he was reloading.
He reloaded every magazine he had in the book bag and put them all in his pockets.
I was amazed too how kind you were to him and how compassionate you were to him. Is that something you really felt?
Yes, it was. At one point I just started feeling sorry for him. When he got to telling me that he wasn't on his medicine and everything that was going on with him and all that, I really began to feel sorry for him. I knew that where he was at mentally was not a good place, but I knew that he was there for whatever particular reason that it was in life. And he started talking to me and telling me that, he wasn't on his medicine. He should have went to the hospital, and, he hadn't taken his medicine in a while. So I knew that I wasn't actually speaking to someone that was in their right state of mind.
Mm-hmm. I want to play that portion.
It's going to be all right, sweet. I just want you to know that I love you, though, okay? And I'm proud of you. That's a good thing that you're just giving up, and don't worry about it. We all go through something in life. No, you don't want that. You're going to be okay. I thought the same thing. I tried to commit suicide last year after my husband left me. But look at me now. I'm still working, and everything is okay.
It seems that really connected with him. I mean, your willingness to share personal details of your own life really made an impact on him.
Yes, by that time he had actually called one of his family members, and he was talking to them, and then they was telling him some things and things like that, what was going on. So I knew how he felt. I had been in that situation. I had been in that devastating moment when all of the things happened to me. So I knew that could have been my story, but because of God's grace and mercy, it wasn't. And I knew that I could help somebody. God sent people, my pastor and people and friends and family in my path to help me through. And I knew at that point in time that he needed me, and I was the only person there. So I just wanted to be able to allow him to know that there was some hope. And that even though what seemed to be devastating for me then, look at me now, I just opened up a brand new business. God had brought me back from what seemed to be hopeless now to hope. And, I just, did a grand opening, opened up a motor coach company and a travel agency, and just get ready to start doing a nonprofit, Kids on the Move for Success. And so I looked at all of that to be able to know that if I don't allow him to see what we need to do, then it's going to be hopeless for him also.
There's so much more that we talked about, and we're really going to be playing this interview for most of this hour because, often in news we focus on the negative, and so many people say they want to hear, positive things when they happen. I just think this woman is extraordinary and has a message that all of us need to hear in these difficult times. We're also going to play the moment when Antoinette meets the voice on the other end of the 911 call, the operator. We reunite them for the first time only on 360 next.
I've learned that through everything I've been through, I was actually telling God that even though it seemed like I've been through hell and back, I promised him December the 31st that if he allowed me to live, that 2013 would be heaven for me. And so I know today that all that I went through was actually for that one perfect day. And that was to save that young man's life and to make sure that 800 and some children and also all of our staff will be able to know that God is real. And even all of those who don't believe, they're able to see a God in action.